So I'm currently down about 45 pounds from my heaviest. Well, more like 40 after Thanksgiving. But in this video, I want to discuss why losing weight is so fucking hard, and also discuss some of the things that I've learned, some of the things that I've done as I've been tinkering with diet and training protocols to try to find the fastest way to lose weight. Now, contrary to popular belief, our bodies and minds are not designed to keep us as jacked and slim as possible. I know, fucking sucks. Instead, over the past thousands of years of evolutionary processes, we've become very, very good at other things, like surviving. And what this essentially means is that there are a lot of systems and processes in place to make sure that we more or less stay the same way that we are. We can of course change the way we look with things like training, and all of training does is essentially provide the body with a stimulus that says, hey, we're struggling with this. If this keeps showing up, we could be in trouble. And because we keep showing up, we keep training, and we keep putting the body through that stress, the body eventually recognizes it and starts redirecting nutrients and substrates in order to generate new tissue, which is a very energy demanding task. And this is why training oftentimes makes us hungry, because the body will always try to achieve a state of balance. So if you normally burn 2200 calories, and now you're suddenly burning 2500 calories. And on top of that, the body's being forced to generate new tissue in order to compensate and create adaptations in order to get better at whatever it is that you're doing, aka training. The body will suddenly find itself into a state of deficit. Yeah, it needs more calories, it needs more nutrients, it needs more substrates. And it can tolerate doing this for a little bit. It can tolerate digging into the reserves, the fat that you have stored in order to compensate for the lack of energy. But after a while, the body will become reluctant to just keep losing fat, and it will continue to make you hungrier and hungrier. And that's the biggest problem with losing weight, is the fact that we are not looking for balance anymore. We want to purposely deplete ourselves and force our body to dig into those reserves that it's set aside. And we want to do this in spite of the fact that the body doesn't really see a reason for doing that. And losing this extra bit of weight can be especially hard if you've gained it over several years in a very gradual way. The same way that we do with training, you can essentially progressively overload your appetite. And slowly over time, you can just get used to start eating 200 to 300 calories above your maintenance levels. And without really realizing it, you're gaining half a pound every month or so. And if you do this for 2, 3, 4 years, you're probably gonna gain 10, 20, 30 pounds. So if you manage to understand that what you're actually trying to do is break the inertia and the balance that your body is very much enjoying, the journey itself should be a lot more intuitive. Hunger, tiredness, discomfort just become a part of the journey because it is a hard thing that you're trying to do. And more than anything, it means that what you're doing is actually working. Like you're forcing your body to dig into those reserves. This also means that it's probably gonna take some time, and you're probably gonna end up going a little bit slower than you would like. But I'll tell you what, on every single one of these weight loss phases that I've gone through, I've lost anywhere from 20 to 25 pounds, okay? And then I've regained 5 to 10 pounds after each one of them. All in all, at my heaviest, I was 240, and at my lightest, I was like 195. So this works. And to be honest, losing 25 pounds in 3 months is moving pretty fast. So now let's talk about how all this looks like in practice. When it comes to losing weight, there's essentially 2 ways of doing this. The first one is more of a lifestyle change, when you just you consciously make better choices about your food, and then you try to gradually increase your energy expenditure over weeks and months. And ideally, if you do this for long enough, after 6 or 8 months, you'll wake up one day and you would have lost like 20 to 30 pounds. This is perfectly possible. You can do this, it's just gonna take a while. The second option is what I've done over the past 2 years now, and it's just that you go on a weight loss training phase that lasts anywhere from 3 to 4 months, where you just buckle down, diet really hard, and then you quit right before you're really fucking tired of dieting. Okay, and then you take a long break, usually 1-to-1 ratio, so you diet for 3, you rest for 3, and then you do it again. And that's the way that's worked the best for me, and that's what I've enjoyed doing the most. So now let's talk about what these weight loss phases look like in practice. The first thing you gotta do is figure out your BMR and go through all the basics. There's 1,000 videos here on YouTube explaining this, so I'm just gonna put the information right here, and you can screenshot it if you wanna read more about it. Also, here's a screenshot of what my macros look like at the beginning of the weight loss period, and this is what they end up looking towards the end. Now, the main thing here is that it's just a diet. There's nothing mythical about it. There's nothing magic about it. It's just eating less calories than what you're burning on a daily basis. That's it. If you want to lose weight, you have to do it through a diet. You know, there's a cap to how much energy you can actually burn with just working out. At some point, there are going to be mechanisms in place to get you to keep burning less and less energy as you deplete yourself. It's just how it works. After a good bit of dieting, your body will simply start fighting you and will start being more reluctant to shed that fat. Ideally, you'll end this weight loss period right towards the end of that, when it's becoming like unbearable to keep losing weight. This is actually a very important thing. Do not push it till you can't do it anymore. You know, leave a little bit of energy in the tank. Now I start these weight loss periods at around 2,000 calories, and then I kind of see what happens during the first and second week. You know, and then I slowly start inching lower and lower and lower, cutting about 100 to 200 calories every week. You know, and then just seeing what happens, giving myself like 1 or 2 weeks at this new calorie intake and seeing what happens. You know, if I'm still losing weight at week 2, then I might just keep it like that. This last weight loss phase, I stayed around 1,300 calories for like the last 3 weeks, and that was honestly pretty fucking tough. And the last piece of advice that I would have for you is just to give it time. Wait for it to get hard, and don't try to force the struggle and the pain. Like week 1 and week 2 should be pretty chilled, and then it should progressively get hard and maybe peak in like peak fatigue, peak tiredness, peak hunger around like week 8 to 10. You know, and after that you should feel like you're somewhat stabilizing, like your body has found a new low that feels comfortable at, and you've successfully reset that baseline. You know, your body's achieving balance once again, and at that point maybe push it for another 2-3 weeks and then just call it. And when you do this, you cannot just turn your diet brain off. You cannot just go back to eating like a normal person, okay? You have to make sure you stay at this new weight for a few weeks. You try to find your maintenance, try to find an amount of food that makes you feel full, makes you feel good, and then doesn't put any weight on you. Okay, stay there for about 1 to 2 weeks, and after that, you can more or less just make intuitive decisions throughout the day. And by doing this, you sort of avoid that big kickback, that big rebound, and then just regain all the fat. Most of that weight will simply be water weight. You know, you're replenishing all your glycogen storages, and you might gain a little bit of fat, you know, and find that new balance. And over the ensuing months, you might put up a few more pounds of muscle as you get back to training and eating like a normal person. And that's what's happened to me. So after about 3 months of a diet break, I've usually gained like anywhere from 5 to 10 pounds from when I stopped the diet. And I can literally tell the difference in like muscle fullness and how I look. And then I simply start the next weight loss phase. And I generally do the exact same thing. I even go through the same calories. You know, there's an argument to be made that if you lost weight, maybe your BMR has moved and shifted around, but in my experience, it hasn't been by that much, and I can genuinely just replicate the exact same thing that I did in the exact same order with pretty much the exact same calories. There's always some differences, and you always gotta be adjusting your macros as the diet progresses, but it's gonna be small changes. More or less, the structure will stay the same. And that's the video. So as always, hopefully you guys enjoyed it, got something useful out of it. If you have any questions, feel free to leave in the comments. I love talking to you guys and answering every single question that you may have. If you're interested in training and want to learn more about it, I put together an email series. You can sign up below. It's just 10 emails over the course of 10 days with sort of like the biggest lessons and the dumbest things that I've done over the past 20 years of training at this point. So yeah, completely free. You can now subscribe whenever you want to. Check it out. Thank you everyone for watching. I appreciate every single one of you.
It is important to draw wisdom from many different places. If we take it from only one place, it becomes rigid and stale. Understanding others, the other elements, and the other nations will help you become whole.